How's everybody doing? A new to me book, Bloom. I will do a flip through on this, but not for probably about a week. I want to actually do a page today in here. Actually, we're going to be doing a couple pages over the next couple sessions. So this is a way for you to get a little sneak peek while I look. Now that one I've already done was so much fun. All the little colored pencils and stuff. Yeah, I really enjoyed that. So today, let's work on these hydrangeas. How's that sound? That's actually a cut down cutting mat from Dollar Tree, $1.25. And they come in 2 packs and you can cut them with scissors. So that's how I was able to do that. Now, a hydrangea is generally lighter in the very middle and then gets darker as it goes out. So if you need to look up a picture for that, go ahead. I'm going to zoom in a little bit here and we're going to get started. I am back in my Polychromos. I've not used those for a while. I am going to use those today. The colors I have pulled are white, and it's 101. Then I pulled a light blue. This is called, I got to turn it around so I can see it, Ultramarine Hell? Yeah, light ultramarine, number 140. Okay, then I have a medium blue, and this is ultramarine, number 120. Okay, so white, light, medium, and then our dark blue is indanthrine blue. Got me. 247. So whenever you're doing your hydrangeas, you're going to need white, light shade, medium shade, dark shade. If you've got that, you've got it set. So I am going to come in with my lightest shade. I'm going to locate the central area, and I am going to do like 3 in a light shade. So I'm looking for the ones that are bigger. See how these are actually whole flowers, more or less? Okay, this one is too, but I decided to make my brightest spot there. So on this one, my brightest spot should be somewhere in here. Okay, so I'm going to pick this one. And notice I'm not scrunched down, I'm back a little. That helps me to do it a little bit lighter because I am so heavy-handed. And hydrangeas take a while because they're all these little petals. Now, if you're in a hurry, but you're really wanting to color it, you can use the gel sticks or chalk paints, not chalk paints, I can't even think, sorry, chalk pastels, you know, the pastel chalks, whatever you want to call them. Or you could even go over and use, let's see, man, I'm drawing blanks today. Y'all, I am tired. Okay, I'm keeping it real. That's what I do. You could use, well, they're laying right there. It's gelatos. Jeez, so what'd y'all do this weekend? Today is actually Memorial Day when I'm doing this video, and we had, husband went 3 times last week to the in-laws. I went just once, and then we had a birthday party here yesterday for our daughter, and the kids all came in, and so it's just been, it's been a week again. My sister had foot surgery. I went and picked her up on Thursday from out in the country, and she spent the night here. We took her in the next day to have a screw removed. Okay, I'm changing over to white, and I'm going to do the outsides blending in. So she went in to have a screw removed from her foot and to also have the other foot, the bunion, removed. She gets all the way in there. They're prepping and everything. And they're like, by the way, we can only do the screw today. Insurance didn't okay the rest of it. We're like, are you serious? So now she's got to have yet another surgery. So, but the doctor, you know, he's like, no, this will give you more time to heal before we do the other one. You won't be limping around on both legs and all that. So, I mean, it's all in the time, and we understand that, but it's just not what she had expected. So, and she came out, I'm going back to my lightest shade of 3 shades. She came out of surgery so well. I was so proud of her. I'm telling you, she a lot of times has a hard time waking up, and she was a trooper. She came right out of it. We brought her home. She ate a full meal. She took a little nap. She took like a 3-hour nap, and then I woke her up, and then she was up for several hours, and then overnight, and she started stretching the pain pills out so she wouldn't have to go back and get them right away. So, yeah, really proud of how she's doing this time through. She did pretty good last time too. But, so anyway, and then I took her home on, I'm going back to the white again. So I said this is not a fast process. So then I took her home on Saturday. And then Saturday afternoon, hubby and I went out and got 3 cream frozen pies for our daughter's party here. And she turned 35. And then, so the kids, like I said, the kids all came home. And it was just a really fun time. And we just played games and laughed and just carried on. And, just tired though today, okay? So I am on my lightest shade of my 3 shades, and I'm working my way out from those that we already did, okay? Still not getting real heavy. Now look how this isn't all drawn in as separate petals, but that's okay. I'm just going to go ahead and do this, and then when I come in with a darker shade, I'll get those other areas. So just come in and kind of hit this. Just adding more color in here. I'm going to go ahead and do this one because I'm going to come in with that middle shade and do what's in there next, okay? Now, after this video, I'm going to do a video on basket weave, and it is also in this book. Okay, so be sure and stop in when I do a video in a couple days. But see how I'm coming in and I'm just going around again. And that's the way you're going to do these flowers. Now, these flowers, depending on what kind of soil they're in, you can add acidic moss when you're planting these and get different colors, okay? These actually come in a white creamy color. They come in blue, they come in pink, and I got one a couple years ago that actually came in a deep purple. It was beautiful, but alas, I do not have a green thumb, so it's out in the flower garden, but I think it's a goner. I don't think it's coming back. So they do take lots of heat, but the Texas heat might be a little much sometimes. They take a ton of water, hence the name hydrangea. because you have to keep them hydrated. Now, I will tell you, when you buy these and you get them as cut flowers and you want them on the table, if you get up one morning and they look totally just wilted, do not throw them out. Take them out of the vase, refill the vase with fresh water, recut your stems, because stems scab over just like we do with sores when we're bleeding. So that's why you're recutting your stems. Cut them at an angle. The reason for the angle is not more coverage for water to get in. It's so that they don't suction to the bottom of your vase. Okay? So do all that and then pop your flowers back in after you've recut the stems, and they are going to probably perk right back up. They just needed more water or some fresh water. Same thing if your stems are actually in the styrofoam oasis, okay, the foam oasis for floral, then add more water to the oasis and your flower will probably perk right back up. They last quite a few days, but they are picky about their water. Okay, so just something to remember there. Now I've gone around those blooms. I'm going to go ahead and extend over here a little bit, because this flower, it's a little cattywampus looking, and it could be two flowers, right? This could be part of one, and then this could be one. So we're going to go on over, though, and do some more of this. Not a fast process. If you decided, like I said, to use a different way of coloring these, okay, the chalks, the gel sticks, the gelatos. See, I could remember them all that time. What you would do is put your color on your sponge applicator and go around the center light, then the next a little darker, and then a little darker. But make sure you cover up the blending line, and you're not going to get quite the dimension that we're going to get, because I'm going to come back and color this with another shade. Okay, so that was my lightest. Now I'm going to go to medium. Now the medium, just like before, where we did the white and then the lighter on the outside, the white, it's what we're going to be doing here. We're going to come in and add the darker to the inside of all these. If you do a light enough touch, you might be able to blend as you go and not have to come back and blend again. It's just going to depend on your blendability. And for that, you've got to consider what kind of paper we're on. You've got to consider what kind of pencils you're using, and then what kind of pressure you're actually putting on the paper with the pencils. So there is a lot to consider when coloring. This paper is your traditional Amazon paper. Now I will say Amazon has changed their paper a little bit. So the paper that, if you've not bought a book from Amazon in a while that is printed at Amazon, be prepared. The paper is a little bit better than what it was before. Now these are not really good paper. They still are using some of the cheaper stuff. And I did that just a little bit because I think that's one of our lighter ones. But you can go in and deepen that just a bit around the very centers, just to give it a little more depth. And then I can come in here and color that one totally. Okay? So just remember what's overlapping. We're mainly doing the centers, but if there's a part where it overlaps, you can get that area too. Okay? So just work your way around here. It's going to take time, but what have we got but time, right? That's why we picked this time for coloring, because we have some time. Now that one's not blending as well for me, so I'm going to come back and grab my lightest shade and go ahead and blend again. There we go. You will have some that just don't blend as well. go back and get your lightest shade and use it to blend. That's why we've got the pencils. That's why we hold them all in our hand so that we can go back and use them when we need to. Okay? But just keep blending those centers, and see, here's an overlap, so we're going to get right behind there. You just mainly want to have depth, so that's why we're using so many colors. Okay? Oh, the in-laws, their kitchen is done. They got new flooring put in. I've heard it's nice. Greenie likes it. She forgets, of course, with the dementia that it's a new floor, but that's okay. It's a gray color, I believe. I've not seen it yet, and I'm not going this Tuesday because I will have our granddaughter. Got to keep her for, her mom's got a day at work that she's just can't take Evie with her at the learning center. So I'm going to keep her here. So, but yeah, it's the slats that interlock with each other. And so it's a floating floor, which is awesome for them because they had linoleum before, and they are a pier and beam house. So that way, if they have to get leveled or anything again, then it's going to work out really nice and easy, that the floor won't buckle or crack or have any of those problems. Okay, so you can see how it's getting darker as I come around. And I did get this one a little bit darker than what ended on the edges, so I'm just going to come back with the white, and I'm going to lighten it up. That's one thing I can tell you about this book. Coming in and lightening, it really takes to it nicely. See how those are lighter now right there? So yeah, lightening is fairly easy on this paper, and it's not always on all the papers. So I guess I ought to finish this over here. Anyway, yeah, it's Memorial Day weekend. Let's see. I don't know that there's just a whole lot more going on. The artist that did this book, she does have another book coming out, so I'm sure she's probably going to send that to me as soon as it gets released, and I'll be sure and share it. The pages in the book, they're not overly detailed, but they're like this. They do have a lot of detail without being complicated, so that's a big plus. Just wonderful, wonderful pages. And this one is a floral. There are a couple pages that are a little wonky, but I mean, you know, we get that in our books. So, all right, so I've just about finished with this color, and then we're going to go to the next one. Okay. And I did do darker here than over here. Do you see that? Do you see how this has been darkened and this is not? So I am going to come over, because you want these to be fairly balanced, and it's easier to do it as you go. For me, it is. Some of you may decide to color the whole thing one shade and then come back and add your other shades in. For me, it's just easier this way. And I'm just adding around there, around that little bloom area, okay? And now you can see this is all about the same darkness, and this is a little lighter. So I'll come over here. Balance, okay? So when you're coloring, and balance is not something we talk about a whole lot. So balance is when you're doing your page and you want it to be all the light coming from the same direction. You want the same amount of dark and light in your flowers if they're all in the same area. You want to work in odd numbers if possible. See, the artist drew 3 flowers on here, so that's odd numbers. We did 3 lighter blooms. 3 lighter blooms, that's an odd number. Now, for my next part, I'm actually going to come in with this color, and I'm going to work just one area just so that we don't run out of time. So now I'm coming in and I'm doing this area. See how I'm doing this? Because this is the outskirts, that outer area. So you will find that your outer area on these flowers does work up much quicker. So this is my middle shade. Now I'm going to come in with my darkest, okay, my darkest shade, and I'm going to go ahead and add some depth. Okay, whatever is tucked under is going to get this deeper color. And do you see how that's pushing that back and making it look more rounded? Just like in here, I did the same thing. Just go ahead and do some of that. And then while we've got this pencil, anything that's in the very back gets done solid in that color. Okay? Anything that's way back in there that's not a center. And if you need to, come back in and do some blending. But you can see, now I'm coming back with my middle shade, and I'm going to do some blending here. Because I do want this area to be darker so that it looks like it goes to the back. Like it's really back there in the back. That's what's going to make your hydrangea look more like a ball instead of just a flat surface. And again, if you need to come in and darken something, you can still do that. And see, I'm not being real picky. Don't be fussy. This is one of those pages that you can kind of go in and just mess with it, and it's okay. You don't have to be perfect. So I'm coming around here doing that same thing again. Just kind of color at them. Now there's a center, so don't color that. I will come back and do all of my centers yellow. And I don't know if I will use a gel pen going to the darkest shade, or if I will come back in and use a Posca paint pen. I may use the paint pen because I know it'll be bright and really show up well. See, I can come in here. Anything I do in here is just going to push it all the way back there. Give a lot of that depth. We want this to look like it's rounded, so we've got to put some dark on the outside. Okay, so get your shading in there. Take the time to get it in there. But you can be just kind of loose with it. Okay, you don't have to be, it's not a fussy thing. All right, there's one that didn't get done. And just tuck some darks. Tuck some darks back in there so that you've got some depth like I did here. Okay, so tuck some dark in. You want it to have depth. Okay, now I know time is getting away from us, but I just wanted you to see how I do these. And again, there's lots of different colors. There may be even, there is a hydrangea that's a green color too. All right, so don't be afraid to play with your colors. That's something, when I get a book that's flowers, I love to just play with the colors with it. Going back to my middle shade, because that's a time when you can play with different colors, see what blends, see what you like, and just have fun with it. That way, when I get to my books that are like storytelling, and it's a continual story through the book, then I've already got an idea of what colors I like to blend. I've done a lot here lately of blending purple with fuchsia, okay, or a magenta color, and it looks really nice. So play with your colors, have fun, and you can see now there's the bright area and it's getting darker. It's not as dark as this one yet. It's just going to keep working on it, and it will gradually deepen up. You can come back with even your lightest shade. Why don't I do that real quick? I'm going to come back with my first blue, and I'm just going to start blending. Okay, this is my lightest shade. See how blending is already taking that a little bit darker and getting rid of some of the tooth in that paper. If you're not familiar with tooth in the paper, I have done some videos in the past about tooth and how it is the element that actually grabs the pencil. So, but do you see how that's already deepening up now? And then we've got this out here that's going to stay dark. But I will use my lightest shade as a blender instead of using a blending stick or a stump or Tortillion or any of that stuff. I just like adding more color down to blend. But you can see how this is going. And it just takes going over it, takes work. Now my timer is about to go off on my phone, so I know we're down to like 3 minutes. If you are a follower, thank you, thank you, thank you. If you're new to my channel, please become a follower. It takes watching a ton of videos for me to make very much money at all on this. And it's not just about the money, it's about you learning too. I enjoy teaching. There went my timer. I do enjoy teaching, so I would keep up the videos probably anyway. But it is nice to get just a little kickback from it. So every time hubby thinks he's going to go back to work, you know, something comes up with his mom or something, and it's just not feasible for us. So, you know, we may end up just going ahead and drawing Social Security early. I don't know. But God knows what he's got in store for us, so he'll plan it and we'll go along with it. Now I'm going to come in here and use a little bit of white. I just like the way that bloom looks. Okay? Use some white in there. There's nothing wrong with that area getting a little lighter too. Okay? Maybe there's a little bit of shine right here. Yeah, just play with your colors. Okay? So that's hydrangeas. They need hydrating, and that's where they get their name. And I will see all of y'all hopefully back here in a few days when we're going to tackle the weave of a basket. Okay? All right. Thanks for coming out. Bye.